Good day everyone. So today we are going to lesson about justifying the use of formative assessment.
So our learning outcomes is define formative assessment and explain its role in supporting the learning process through continuous feedback and monitoring. Next is examine the benefits of formative assessment for both teachers and students in enhancing instructional strategies and promoting active students' engagement. Third is identify and provide example of formative assessments technique that can be effectively implemented in the classroom to improve learning outcomes. So what is formative assessment? So formative assessments is ongoing assessment during the learning process. It helps identify students' strengths and areas for improvement, include quizzes, discussion, peer reviews, and observation. So ang formative assessment is kanang kung sa summative assessment is, dira nato ma-evaluate ang estudyante kung nabasa na to o wala, while ang formative assessment is, dira mahitabo na siya in assessment nga kanang during learning process. For example, after the in discussion, if nabay na sabtan ang estudyante or wala, if da po na ito mahibalaan kung unsa pang ato ang mga techniques na atong buhaton next discussion. Next is, so sa providing continuous feedback, like magpa-oral ka, mga tana ka, so na kay murag positive way to them to kanang mas active pa sila sa imuhang discussions. So next is guiding instructional decisions. Teacher can adjust their teaching methods and materials based on the assessment results. So kani purpose man yang kanang mas sa teachers kanang kunyari before the discussion kana imong imong teaching method is kanang effective sa mga estudyante para makatuon. For example, sa imong instructional materials is tama imuhang mga instruction nga ginahatag para pud ang estudyante dili ra pud siya murag masabtan niya ang imong ginaingon or imong ipabuhat sa ilaha. Next is providing student involvement and self-assessment. Students are encouraged to reflect on their own learning, which fosters ownership and motivation. So in this purpose of formative assessment is dili ang part is ang students na ang sa ilang self sa ilang self is mas di na nato makita nga dapat active na ang estudyante, like mangutan na sila if nasa lay nasabtan o wala, or kanang mga words or mga wala pa nailhan nga words sa imong topic nga mga pwede pang pwede nimo matubag or pwede nimo mas maipasabot pa sila ha. So the benefit for teachers is formative assessments offer several benefits to teachers, including the ability to adjust teaching strategies to better meet the varying needs of students. Early identification of learning gaps will allow for timely intervention. Enhanced lesson planning as refine their instructional methods based on students' progress and feedback. So diri sa teachers mas ang teacher is kanang makahuna-huna din sila kung unsa ang mga pwede nga teaching strategies nga pwede nga buhaton para sa mga estudyante. So kunyari collaboration. So imong activity ana is group discussion, group activity, or kung mag-experiment mo, collaboration naman siya. So murag ikaw maka-adjust ka kung saan nimo pag meet sa ilahang needs or sa mga estudyante kung nabasa sila nasabtan o wala. So next is ikaw ma-identify din nimo ang learning gaps nila. Kunyari sa estudyante is nasa lay na isa or na duha nga lisod-lisod pa kayo na makasabot or kanang kanang dili kayo active sa klase. So ikaw makahimo pa strategies kung saan mo na siya pag-resolve. So enhance learning lesson planning as teachers can refine the instructional methods based on student progress and feedback. So sa lesson planning is hindi pwede mo hunahuna po ka nga ay kaning topic or kaning activity is mas effective kung kanang oral recitation ka para mas mainggan ang mga bata nga mag-participate. For example, quiz. The teacher give a short quiz at the end of the week to assess comprehension. The quiz includes a mix of multiple choice and open-ended questions. So, sa quizzes, kunyari, kanang murag sa inyong discuss na topic, so, magpa-short quiz ka, pwede naman siya kanang by week naman siya buhaton para mas recall or mahunahunaan pa sa mga estudyante ang mga topic na imong ipang discuss. So that's all.
And now, I will be the one to continue the report. So next, we have the benefits for the students. So the first benefits for the students is that they will understand the learning goals and expectations. So formative assessment will help the students for them to see exactly kung unsa jud ang alahang expected or dapat na ma-learn, which is makahelp na siya for them to stay focused and organized. And also knowing the goals will allow them to track their progress. Just like for example sa demo, right? Gina-show man jud daan ang learning objectives or goals and wala siya gina-remove for us to track down the progress of the lesson or the students. And then after is gina-review na pod if nahit ba jud ang tanan nga learning objectives. So the next benefit is that the students will receive timely feedback for improvement. So diri kay sa students mag-receive siya og feedback during the learning process, not just after a final grade, which will allow them para ma-fix pa ang ilahang mali and ma-improve pa jud ang ilahang skills, and it will let them to correct their errors. And as well as madipin pa jud ang ilahang understanding. Para sa anang pag mag-demo nga ginapa-check man nato daan ang ato ang lesson plan, right? Kay para makoreksyonan pa jud ang ato ang mga mali. And then ma-fix nato siya before ang final nga grading. So importante jud kayo siya para matagaan pa og chance ang mga students, and also mas masabtan pa nila nga kani di ay or mao ni dapat ang buhaton. So next, boost motivation and engagement. So formative assessment often include interactive ug lain-lain na task para makakuha sa interest sa students. So when they receive encouragement and makita nila nga ga-progress ilahang efforts, the student will feel more motivated to continue their learning. Now, the sense of achievement and involvement can turn the passive learners into an active participants. So, the passive learners are those who just listen without much interactions. And example is katong gipabuhat sa tuan ni Ma'am Lord dati nga kahot. So, pwede to siya pang-review og topics which is entertaining and maka-encourage sa mga students since makita man nila ang ilahang progress, which makes the students to participate actively and make them more interested in learning. And last is encourage active learning and critical thinking. So rather than just listening to lectures or memorizing, formative assessment encourages students to think or analyze information and participate sa discussions or hands-on activities. So for example, sa ato ang PE, di ba kay gitagaan man tawag task last time ni Sir Garzon nga mag-create og kanang own exercise routine para sa volleyball. So this encourages us not just creatively but also critical thinking on how exercises in volleyball are done and how important it is. And next, we have the examples of formative assessment. So first is we have the exit tickets. So here, the students will write a short response at the end of the class to reflect on what they have learned or to ask questions. So this will help the teachers to quickly assess their understanding. Another example is think, pair, share. So diri is mag-thinks ang mga students individually, then mag-discuss siya with a partner, tapos i-share na po niya sa class. Now this encourages the participation and deeper thinking of the students. Next example is learning journal. So the students here will write regularly about what they have learned and kung unsa ang ilahang na-feel about sa lesson. So this will help them para mag-reflect and identify the areas that they find easy or challenging. And it will also help the teachers para mabalaan nila kung unsa ang lessons nga need og attention. And next example is peer and self-assessment. So here the students will use a rubric or checklist to evaluate their own work or sa ilahang classmates. So example is kanang after a group experiment which will show melting and evaporation, the students will answer a self-assessment checklist. Like kanang number 1 is I can describe how solid turns into liquids. So the students will choose if unsa ang ilahang i-check. If it is yes, no, or somewhat. And next example is quick quizzes or polls. So diri the short quizzes will help the teachers para ma-check nila ang understanding sa mga student right away and adjust the lesson as needed or make changes.
So to conclude, formative assessment is essential for effective teaching, which it gives the teachers real-time information about the students' learning, which allows them to make informed decisions about how to teach effectively. And it benefits both teachers and learners, which is the teachers learn how well the students are doing so they can just adjust instruction. Then the students will also feel more supported and given more chances to improve. Then lastly, it encourages a reflective, supportive learning environment, which is formative assessment fosters a positive classroom where students feel safe to take risk, ask questions, and grow from feedback.
So that is all, everyone. Thank you for listening.